Hello, everybody. My name is Frigid Hyperion, and welcome back to the Wildemount campaign. This will be session 22. Last time...
I didn't say anything! I wanted to so desperately.
Well, it kind of says something now!
Yeah, it's already too late now.
Well, I'm just going to roll with it. Fuck it.
Yeah, it's the dealers have... Sorry, the watchers have to deal with this now.
Last
Well,
time in the Wilds of Wildemount, the Legati Company boarded, or rather docked in Port Tamale and prepared for a long land-based expedition to Allfield, where Windchime is from, and we're going to go help her parents from the Knolls, and the entire town for that matter. Helping the town from the Knolls. As we were preparing, Moonzic got a new weapon, everyone got their rations, and then Windchime actually went to go on a date with a young lady named Nihiri, who was in the circus, and they had a fun time together, and Windchime asked if she wanted to come with us on our expedition, and I believe the general consensus is that we'd be alright with her coming along. And now we're making our final preparations as we're waiting for a day or two to start a job that takes us from Port Tamale to Pheolin on a escort mission. And with me today, I have Rocky as Edward. I want to say Windchime for some reason. Lily is Windchime. I'm Moonzic, and currently Kale and Quinn are not here. But Kale normally plays Brine, and Quinn plays Anemo. And we also have a special guest today, but I'm going to hand things off to Emily, our lovely dungeon master.
Hello. Thank you guys for watching this on Canadian Thanksgiving, if that is related to you. So appreciate for the Canadians in our, mostly Rocky, well, love you, man, for being here. Appreciate you. And for anybody who's watching. And possibly for Kale and Quinn when they get done, depending on how long today's session goes. So.
Yeah. Special shout out to everybody watching on twitch.tv/frigidhyperion.
And thank you for the recap there, Cam. I want to introduce Don, our special guest for tonight. We might remember his voice as he was the original player of II. And he is going to be joining us today, and quite possibly, maybe long term, yeah? Hopefully.
Is this going to be a recurring theme?
What?
We just sprinkle Dawn in here.
Where, like, we just get new members of the party that just say they want to be in the party and declare that they are, and then we just kind of roll with it.
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean...
next thing you know, it's going to be Edward
yet.
just sitting there minding his own business, reading a book, and then I comes and says, "I'm in your party now." And there's just nothing he can do about it. He suddenly gets flashbacks.
More of the story, the more that Edward reads, the more party members we bring on, apparently.
Yeah, like the third one, he's going to be like, "Yep, it's about that time of the campaign."
So, Dawn, say hello.
Hello.
You can also say other things if you would like.
Hello.
Okay. Perfect. So, we're gonna get right into it pretty quickly here. As was previously mentioned, everybody had headed back to the judge's home, where you all were resting after a very eventful night. Yeah. I'm going to start things off with kind of forcing you guys down a path. having an entire day to spare between now and your job that you took. You all decided to go about the town. Let's see here. However, you are met, unfortunately, with rain. It appears to be a pretty rainy day in the in Port de Mali. You notice as you walk around, there's still a good bustle of activity, although people seem to be much more destination focused in their walking. A lot less meandering around and a lot more gotta get to where I need to go. There are still the sounds of carts and people bustling and talking, but it's all accompanied by the light pitter-patter of the rainy day. So, is there anywhere in particular that the three of you, being Windchime, Cheem, I presume, and Edward, are going abouts?
What are like the tourist destinations in Port de Mali?
Multiple tourist destinations. The entire Gilded Esplanade is a point of interest, as you see basically all of the shops and barkers out there calling and hollering for people. You always, when walking through the Gilded Esplanade, you are accompanied by a variety of scents, whether that be baking bread or sharp perfumes, even the smell occasionally of smoke in the air when you pass by that tinny smell when you are near a forge. Additionally, there is the Beaded Alley, which is the district that has a great deal of performers and musicians. You've got it's significantly more lively. And most of the time, that's where people who have a little bit more money would end up going. You know of the Tumble Downs, which is very explicitly not a district that people would want to be touring, as it is cramped housing full of where the majority of the people in Port de Mali live. But it's a significantly poorer district, and many people believe that that it is considered dirty to even go into certain areas in the Tumble Downs. You guys are very familiar with the Larboard Light District. That is the major, and it's been a while since we've gone over this, so I don't mind doing it again. That is where a lot of the dock workers and middling shops are. Pretty industry heavy, but that doesn't mean that there aren't interesting bits and bobs snuck their way through there, if that makes sense. Sprinkled throughout is the word I was looking for. Additionally, you are very familiar with, not very, but you've heard a lot about the Crescents. The crescents are where the majority of the quote tourist attractions are. There are 7 large moon-shaped statues that were given to the city when it was first founded. It's an extraordinarily affluent area where there's a lot of like the competing richer families and well-connected nobles who want to, experience the entire city. There is the Pearl Shrine, which is a temple to Avandra, and then the Sunfall Sanctuary, which is the well-known temple to Pelor. Another point of interest is in the Gilded Esplanade, and one that has caught your eye every so often when you're in the city, and that is where the Skyport is located. That kind of pokes out over top of the city. And you see the not skyships.
Are there airplanes?
There are
not
airships.
airplanes, no.
Are there?
There are
the blue. What are they called?
Blimps?
Oh, you're talking about blimps?
Yeah, are they blimps?
No, they're not. They're not blimps. They actually are skyships. These are very large and ornate ships that have interesting looking sails. They don't come straight out like you would see on your sailing vessel. A lot of times they end up spreading off to the side as if they are more like ears to the ship, if that makes sense. Where the rich, elite, and profitable are able to take these skyships across continents, to the other continents of Exandria.
Okay.
You do know that it is the only skyport in the entirety of Wildemount. At least you think.
Wow.
Port Damali?
In Port Damali. Yep. Not even the city of Rexingtrum in the Dwendalian Empire has a skyport.
From
Whoa.
from Judge Renette's.
Is this due to xenophobic tendencies of isolationist empires, or is there
Yes.
no other reason other than?
Genuinely, that is 100% the reason.
Okay.
Right up there is the other country that would be capable of doing that would be the Dwendalian Empire, and they fiercely are against the sort of, I don't know what the word is. Yes, xenophobic. I'm trying to think. Off the top of my head, the only other thing I could think of is the auction house, which is in the Gilded Esplanade as well.
I forget where Judge Renette's
It's
house.
a gaudy and grandiose building that excuse me here. It's called the Exalted Collection Auction House. Basically, it is the one stop shop for extraordinarily powerful goods that might not necessarily come from that you wouldn't be able to get anywhere else, right? Like if they were visited by somebody from the outer planes, right? Or extraordinarily rare magical items are sold at the auction house.
What's it called again?
The Exalted Collection auction house.
So this is where we go to get our legendaries late game. Got it.
Yes.
Right. I forget where Judge Renat's estate is compared to
Gilded
everything.
Esplanade.
And the Gilded
He's in,
Esplanade.
yes. He is in the Golden Esplanade, not too far away from the Skyport, which is this is the Sky.
I imagine,
we kind of talked about it there.
Yeah, with
Not too
all the
far
rain
away.
and all that,
I think sort of.
with all the rain and everything, are we able to see like the comings and goings of airships?
At this moment, there are no airships. You do know that, like, you have seen in your time in Port Damali the past few months, only a handful of airships. We're talking 5, 6. When they appear in the sky and they float their way over to the spire, you know, everybody always stops and gawks, right? Like, it happens often enough, but it's not continuous by any means.
It happens so far and few enough to the point where it's kind of a sight to see, I guess.
It is a sight to see, and it's really cool, but that doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to stop whatever they're doing and leave their shops to go take a look. Right? But if you're kind of walking and about, you might stop and look and be like, point, like, hey, look, a skyship's coming in. Wow, look at it, so cool. Ooh, that one is blue, right? Versus, you know, oh my god, there's a spaceship, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Everybody's like, what? There's a spaceship?
The hell? No. Yeah.
When we're talking about spaceship, we're talking about physical planes of space, right? Like spell jamming space.
Anyway.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
But there are plenty of locations of interest all throughout the city, without what I've mentioned. Some of them I haven't come up with yet. Some of them you guys have yet to discover. But from places of worship to a variety of gods to statues and performers and special and notable shops to the guilds that are spread through all across the city.
And they're all closed because of the rain. No, I'm kidding.
This probably would have helped you, wouldn't it have?
Ah, well.
Because I was pinging to things on the map. So, yeah.
I think it did pretty well with Theater of the Mind.
So what do you guys want to do?
Well, I don't particularly have too much money on me right now. Could always...
I mean, if it were up to me, I would probably spend my time sitting in an old library, sifting through books, pages. I find that particularly relaxing. But I hardly doubt that any of those activities would pique any of your interests to a capacity that would allow for you to tolerate more than even half an hour of that. So,
well,
my actions are at your liberty and your discretion on what you would like to spend this afternoon for.
Well, I suppose, reading it in itself is fruitful depending on what you do. I know that you study magic, and that has come in handy quite a few times. So,
It is today.
otherwise, if we went to the library, I would probably research what we would expect on the going through the Wuyun Gorge and in an Allfield, or at least on our way to Allfield.
Our library is free.
So, while there are various smaller libraries that you might be able to find in a city as large as this, there is one standout library, and it's actually the one that both Brian and Edward are familiar with, and that would be the Archive. It is a library run by a series of libraries that are run by an organization called the Cobalt Soul, which you all are pretty familiar with and know that they believe that the obtainment and sharing of knowledge is very important. While there are some things that, like, there are sections of the library, and you in particular know this, Edward, that are locked off and not safe for public consumption, most things can be found in the library. However, you can't take anything home from the library. Any research that's done must be done there.
I mean, if you want, we can go visit the archive. They generally don't charge for admissions, but you're not allowed to bring any books home, which I doubt would be a problem, given that we're going to be leaving town and we wouldn't be in a position to return them later on.
I would want them to be taken out of the library today anyway. This weather would ruin them.
If you want, we can go visit there.
What do you think, Windchime? Do you have any other ideas? Anything you need to take care of?
Right now.
It is the next day, by the way.
Yeah.
So, the next day after today is the day that we leave for the adventure, right?
You're right.
To Phelan.
Does Nihiri...
I don't suppose we can...
Does Nihiri know that we're gathering tomorrow morning?
My goodness, I completely forgot. I gonna go over there this morning, probably right now. I should go tell her the actual plan, because I told her we were gonna leave today. Because I didn't know what the plan was.
We can definitely make that a stop on our way to whatever we're doing.
Okay. She hasn't actually agreed to come with us. She needed to think about it. Which I guess...
If you want, we could do some carousing around the Gilded Esplanade. That's always... I noticed that's what nobles and folk born of money tend to spend their time doing in the afternoons of unoccupied schedules.
Do nobles trouble themselves with rainy weather such as this to go carousing?
Probably not in rainy weather.
Are we pretending to be nobles?
Pretending?
We're not pretending. There's no need to pretend to be anything. We're just looking around at this town. Are we not?
Windchime eyes. Team.
What?
No, just, we're not pretending.
What?
Okay. Whatever you say, Edward.
I'm not sure what you're quite implying from that, but okay.
Alright, so in the early hours of this rainy day, you guys make your way, led by Windchime, to where Nihiri is staying at the. I did write this down
It is
somewhere.
a lovely little inn with a
Oh
name.
yes, the old Gable
Yeah, that's it.
with the old Gable with Grandma Gable. That's right.
That's such a cute name, Grandma Gable.
As you make your way to the old Gable Inn, that's not actually an inn, but that's okay. As you make your way there, you find yourself looking at a familiar, yet wet, hostel. You head inside and go about your business. It's up to you.
Yep. Is Nihiri like inside, or is it just like other people?
So, like we talked about last time you entered the Gable, the Gable Hostel. Wow, goodness gracious! Last time you entered the building, there is a sort of entrance room, and you knew that she came from towards the back. So you don't actually know. But
Is there a counter, or do I see Grandma Gable again?
you do, as you walk inside, you see sitting at a table, drinking some sort of tea and reading a book, is Grandma Gable.
Hello, Grandma Gable. It's so good to see you again.
Hello there, honey. I take it you're here to see Nihiri again?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
Is she-
goodness. She kind of like with a little bit more pip in her step than you would expect from someone of her age. She says, "Well, if you'll just give me just a moment, I will go grab her for you."
Oh, thank you so much.
While Grandma Gable's away, Moonzic's gonna use the cloak of billowing to make it ring itself out from the rain.
Edward's gonna roll his eyes in response to that.
With a hushed whispers coming from the other room, you see shortly Nihiri being led into the kitchen dining room main entrance of the hostel, handheld by Grandma Gable, as she, being quite tall, is nearly double old Grandma Gable's height as she trucks along. Hey there. How you doing, hero?
Oh, I'm great. I brought some of my friends. So we have a change of plans. We're not leaving till tomorrow.
Okay.
And I wanted to see if you had an answer.
I did do some thinking. I definitely would be interested in heading out with you all. Just, do you guys have a plan, or are we just heading straight there?
Oh yeah, we signed up to guard this wagon, I think.
The caravan.
Are you dressed as Cheem right now?
Yeah.
Okay. This is Cheem, and this is Edward. And this is
Hey, Edward.
You remember Edward.
I think we totally know each other. Yeah, we totally already know each other. Madame Madrigal was talking about you. Actually, right before we went and dispersed for the season. Not important. Anyway, so should I like totally go grab my stuff, or am I coming back here tonight? I guess I
Um,
should probably tell Grandma.
I mean, if you want to, otherwise, I'm sure we can like fit you in where we're staying right now. We're just kind of sleeping all over the place there, but
Wait, what?
I don't know. Never mind. Ignore what I'm
I mean,
saying.
I would say it would be relatively rude to disregard the generosity and hospitality that was provided by the good judge. You know,
Yeah,
we're totally actually sleeping in the Gilded Esplanade right now, with a old acquaintance that we helped out some time ago
He
with
helped
a
us in turn
particular
as well.
complication relating to.
yeah, whatever. I'll just stay here another night. Are you okay with that, Grandma? Oh yes, honey. Whatever you need to do. You see, Grandma Gable is like adjusting Nihiri's clothing a little bit, like wiping it off and like just fiddling about. As Nihiri just kind of stands there awkwardly and just lets her. Doesn't really. You can tell, based off of like how like straight her hands are, that she doesn't know what to do with them. So
Is-
yeah.
Is she your real grandma?
Oh, no, honey, no, honey. No, she's not my real grandma or whatever. I don't actually
Oh.
know my real grandma.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I,
That's okay. That's okay. I get that question a lot. I just genuinely care for the people who are staying with me. As she kind of like taps on Nahiri's cheek. Um, and you see Nahiri kind of gives a reluctant but like genuine smile back.
mm-hmm.
What a kind lady to let people stay with you.
Oh, you know, I've been around the block in my age, and there was many a time in my life where I really needed, not only the company, but a place to stay, and
Well,
I wouldn't wish what I went through on anyone.
well, in light of that, thank you for I've never met you or anything, but still thank you for what you do for the people that stay with you.
No worries, thank you very much, you kind sir. She, like, kind of, goes off and says, anybody would like a cup of tea?
Well, yes, please, if that wouldn't be too much to ask from you.
I wouldn't mind a
You
cup
see?
myself.
She busies herself making cups of tea, and you see like the cups that she hands you. Each one of them comes with a saucer, and the edges of like the top rung is slightly painted gold with little flowers that are like pink and green as they kind of fall down the top. Even the little saucer that it comes on, the same theme. The outer edge is that lightly rimmed in gold with pink and green flowers and the like trailing inwards, just about a half inch. But it's pretty fine china, like, but definitely old lady style.
So as
This is so cute.
Oh, thank you, thank you. It was a gift.
so you were wondering what our plan was, and I can provide the specifics of it if you if you care to know right away.
Yeah, like, sure, that would be great. It would, ease my conscience or whatever.
So, our first off, we're going to be headed to Phelan with this escort's job that we have.
I love Phelan. I met my first love in Phelan. Oh,
Really?
Beautiful.
Oh.
It's a beautiful city.
I remember.
I love
He
going
bought
there.
me a bottle of the finest wine, and we sat underneath the trees, looking out to the ocean, the smell of the vineyard all around us. It was a beautiful night, and a lot of fun. Oh, how I miss him. She kind of wipes her eyes.
Insight check on Windchime.
What?
That's so beautiful. She totally believes it.
Oh, you never forget your first love.
I believe
This was a wonderful night.
I believe you're as beautiful today as the day, as you were back then.
Oh, hush. Oh. You make a old woman's heart swoon.
I too love Phelan. I like to travel there whenever I can to pick up a bottle of two or of wine for celebration and whatnot. But yes, we'll be visiting a friend there that actually came in contact with me some time ago. And from there, I imagine we'll probably get another job from Phelan to Nicodranus.
Oh!
Or at least that's what I imagine.
All the way down to Nicodranus? Wonderful.
And then our
I
journey...
met my second love in Nicodranus.
Oh my goodness.
It's actually where our one of our party members is from, Animo. You'll get to know him tomorrow.
Oh, the nights that I spent partying in Nicodranus.
Is it a good party city?
It is rather quiet in comparison to Port Tamale. But, oh boy, the plants that they had there. Incredible. Incredible.
And then, I think after we arrive in Nicodranus...
Oh, Jeffrey!
Who's Jeffrey?
My second love.
What happened to him?
Turns out, he was a married man.
Oh
no! That's terrible. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you know the type. Handsome, strong, a little silly. Oh, at the same time, I knew from the day I met him, the look in his eyes, that he held secrets. I hoped to uncover them myself, but alas. Oh, you all have me thinking about things I haven't thought about in a long time.
And then after Nicodranus, I'm not sure if we want to take a job after that, but from Nicodranus I imagine we'll also arrange some transport to go from there to the longest leg of our journey, from there to the Wuyun Gorge all the way to Allfield.
You are heading up to the Dwendalian Empire?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, goodness. You must all be very safe. I've heard nasty, nasty rumors coming out of that country.
Yes, we know. We'll be safe. I know the land pretty well.
Good, good.
I'll probably need to pick up. Oop. Sure.
She opens up a little tin that she has that has little cookies inside of them.
Ooh.
Don't mind if I do.
You see they're little square cookies with large chunks of sugar on top and salt. Sweet and salty. Delicious. You can see there's like a little hash mark that seems to have been pressed in the top of each one of these. But each one of the cookies is different. You can tell they're homemade.
Oh.
These are delicious, Windchime says as she eats it. Is it actually delicious?
It's pretty good, yeah. They taste like Grandma's cookies. Like, if Grandma's cookies had a taste, they taste like Grandma's cookies.
No, the taste of these cookies defines what Grandma's cookies taste like.
Yes.
The taste of nostalgia.
Yes, very much.
For someone as well-traveled as you make some very delicious and homely treats.
Oh, thank you. I learned how to bake from my from my third love.
Oh, yeah? Was he a baker?
He was a baker. Oh, did he make delicious bread? Oh, yes. Oh. But it turns out that a baker may be good for bread. Absolutely. But be terrible, terrible in bed.
Edward's just gonna like choke on one of his cookies, and he's gonna be like, "Sorry,
Goodness.
carry on." Sorry about that.
You... Well, he could get bread to rise, I suppose, at least.
Oh, but he couldn't get anything else to rise. Oh, yeah. At first, I thought it was me. Turns out, it's just when men get older, they just aren't able to, get it up.
Was he really old?
Oh, he was only a few decades, maybe 3, older than I. He was in his 60s when I met him.
Oh my god.
Although he was very
Wait, is
good
Nihiri a
with his
half-elf?
hands. No, Nihiri is a human.
Human? Oh. Well.
He was very good with his hands.
Well, he was a baker. I would expect that.
Are you okay over there, Edward? You're not looking so good.
No, I'm fine. He's just gonna take a long sip of his teacup. Just take a long sip of tea.
Take
Right,
some
to wash
notes,
down the
Edward.
cookie that he choked on, and then he's gonna like clear his throat. Sorry, I choked on the cookies. Carry on with your story.
That reminds me of my 4th love.
Oh no!
No, I don't want to ask it.
It's at this point that Nihiri decides it is time to intervene. She says, yeah, so like, Grandma, as much as we love hearing about all of your loves that you've ever had, I think maybe these guys look like they want to get out of here. Like, and go about with their days, prepping for, the big adventure or whatever they've got going on tomorrow. We've got going on tomorrow. Ooh, that's gonna take some getting used to. Oh, yes, of course, of course. Go off on your adventures. Just remember to come see old Grandma Gable once in a while.
Will do.
Yeah. We'll come back and tell you about all our loves that we meet during our journeys.
Yes, dearie, yes, dearie. You see she closes the tin and puts it back. As you all eventually get escorted out into the rain by Nihiri. Look, I'm so sorry about that. She is so embarrassing sometimes.
No, it's okay. She's really sweet.
Yeah, she is pretty sweet. I can't deny that.
I think it was lovely hearing those stories, but I'm not sure that Edward was quite prepared for some of it.
I think some of it was a little too dirty.
Wait. You should, wait until she drinks something. Oh my god. Ugh.
Oh, I bet all the details come out then.
Literally, I have to
You're
put a
telling me
pillow
that there's
over my
more
head.
details to be spared about those stories?
I have counted 18.
Oh my god!
18 loves of her life?
Yeah. Yeah.
How old is she?
Grandma gets around.
She's pretty old. She's
When,
pretty old.
how long ago was her last love, dare I ask?
I try not to think about it.
Right.
I'm assuming she goes through like a
you should go
lover.
back there and become one of
Every
them.
couple years, she just goes through another
Yeah.
lover.
That's, totally a good idea. Jean, why don't you go back in there and, chat her up or whatever.
Jean's gonna stare at daggers for a split second and Windchime and be like, I'm afraid my time for that kind of thing has passed.
Oh, so you have erectile dysfunction, too?
I didn't think you were that old.
Anyways.
Anyway, we got us out of there. Let's go do something.
Yeah. We were talking about going to the library.
Riveting.
I know, right? But I do have kind of a hangover, so I'm down to, be low-key today.
I forgot, isn't Windchime still under the effects of the drugs?
Maybe.
No, not anymore. She slept it off.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, let's go then. As you guys make your way to the archives. Passing through the winding city streets, you all, and again, I want to reiterate the kind of muddy puddles that have been forming throughout the streets, and the splashing of carts as they hit those puddles, etc. Yeah, imagery. Imagine. You, however, find yourself I'm gonna put a pause. You guys encounter something as you guys are walking on your way to the archive. Hey! We don't like your kind here. says a very gruff voice, as he seems to shove an elf.
Is the man shouting Dwarven?
No, he's actually a very large and like gruff man. You see, he appears to have he appears to have some like shiny armor with little droplets of rain kind of pouring off of them, and the insignia for Paylor emblazoned on his chest. Big, bushy sideburns, but no beard. His long brown hair is kind of tied back into a low ponytail as he shoves an elf.
Is the elf being shoved in our direction? Like
Shoved kind of sideways. Like you guys are approaching the street, walking down normally, and it appears to be he's being pushed more into the street.
But like
1 second.
Oh.
Dawn, care to describe yourself?
Ah.
Oh.
Yes. You see this dark elf with purple skin, a hue of pinkish purple hair, and what looks to be beautiful, bright purple eyes. He is wearing pretty raggedy clothes. So part of it looks kind of nice, but it's also, you can tell that it's not worth all that much. He has a few scars along his face, excuse me, with a side satchel and what looks to be a katana held on his belt behind him.
With another shove, he says to you, excuse me, let my brain catch up. With another shove, he says to you, you're lucky I don't smite you right here. Go ahead and roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh, okay. So with that, you tumble backwards, and your ass lands in a wet puddle, as he stands over you. What did you say?
I'm sorry. Just please let me pass.
You see him. He brandishes his greatsword, and he says, "Like I'd let you, I've changed my mind. Like I'm gonna let you leave this place."
Cheem's going to step forward and he's going to grab this man's arm. Oh, never mind.
1 second. It's at this moment that a little blue ball jumps out of your coat pocket, and you guys see a small, chubby, chunky, looks to be some sort of pseudo dragon, but doesn't necessarily look like you would expect. And as it jumps out, you see little icicles form in sharp, jagged forms all across its back and its shoulders as it kind of... What's it called when cats, like, get big?
Rear up.
Hackles? I don't know. Its hackles are raised, and you see its back arches as it starts to make what can only be described as a hissing noise at the man in armor. And with that, there's no hesitation from the man in the armor of Palor as he gives a big hoof as he punts the pseudo dragon off into the corner and raises his sword above his head.
Cheem's going to rush forward and he's going to like grab this man's arm and like to hold him, or like to stop him.
Okay. While that's happening, hold on, just give it a second. You actually haven't had as much of an opportunity, despite being involved in this. Is there anything that you want to do, Don?
You're gonna see anger flash through his face as he sees him punt his little buddy, and I'm gonna use the trait.
Okay.
As he slowly makes his way up to
your eyes flash for just a second as you make direct eye contact with this man. Give me a second here. I just want to make sure I'm looking at the right thing. Alright, it's loading.
Would you like me to ping it?
Almost there if it would load. Okay. That is... Okay. Yeah, I don't even have to do anything for that, do I?
No.
Okay, so with that, you see your eyes shift in an unknowable way. For nobody's really paying attention to your eyes at this moment. As in your hand, you feel, as you kind of went to grab his arm, you feel his arm kind of waver and relax, stiffen for just a moment before he looks around, panicked, makes eye contact with you, Moonzic, and drops his sword. And go ahead and roll me a athletics check.
That's the wrong character sheet.
Oh.
Is it a contested athletics check? Like, am I
Yes.
allowed to force low things on? Okay, we'll see what Moonzic rolls.
You have to. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, no Portent's gonna save that. Sorry.
As he shakily pulls his arm out of your grasp as he makes a mad dash, screaming, "I'm gonna kill us all!" As he keeps just dashing down the way.
It like he's just running off.
Yeah, he's running off. He did drop his sword.
Oh.
Moonzic's gonna turn towards this elf, and he's gonna step forward and reach down with a hand to help him up. Are you alright?
Thank you. I'm not sure how much worse it would have gotten. Please give me a moment, though. He's going to rush over to where his little buddy was punted.
You see, she's currently kind of huddled into herself and licking her paw. You see, as you kind of come up to her, she stands up and kind of limps her way back to you.
Is she okay?
And crawls up your arm back into her place.
Is your friend okay?
I'm sure she'll be alright, but just in case, I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on her healer. Make sure.
Is that paladin coming back? I mean, he kind of dropped that sword over there. Gonna pick up the sword with Mage Hand. I'm assuming he'll be back, and most likely, folk of it, most likely unscrupulous people. We can assume they're going to claim that you stole it. I feel like there might be some liability attached to possession of this sword.
Then why are you picking it up?
Well, I mean, he's going to come back for it. I'm assuming we can just.
If he's going to come back for it, then why not just leave it here?
Well, I mean, it would probably be a little more suspicious if, they came after us while claiming that we stole the sword, and we would go there empty-handed as if we stole it and sold it off. You saw the emblem that he was wearing, right?
I saw the emblem. I'm not familiar with the meaning.
What was the religious holy symbol that he was wearing on his armor?
You saw that he had the symbol of Palor on his chest, and interestingly, you note immediately. I guess I should say the symbol looks a bit like it's like a little it's a star. You know what? I will post it.
Okay.
You can find it, I think.
But
it's a sun with multiple rays.
Okay.
Let's see if I can't find the image here. This is close enough. Like, it looks about like that.
Okay. Do you know where do you know where an establishment would be for said faith, of Palor?
Oh, absolutely. There is a we actually mentioned it earlier. In Port Damali, there is in the Crescents, there is a temple to Palor. It's the Sunfall Sanctuary.
Okay. Edward is. Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Edward is going to dust off the sword. He's going to say, "Well, I mean, if you want to, we could probably go back to the temple that this paladin is presumably under the worship of, and return this back so as to not have any unscrupulous rumors be spread about us."
I suppose that would be fair.
Well, I mean, it's a minor inconvenience, but it's not like we had a busy schedule ahead of us today anyway. What do you guys say?
I think we could. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea. How about you?
I'm guessing you're referring to me.
Yeah, what was that man wanting with you anyway?
I'm not quite sure. I never got that far into it. All I know is he was saying something about my kind. But beyond that, beats me.
Is he referring to your elvish lineage?
That could be it, but there might be another thing.
Quick scan of the streets. How many elves are there in the streets?
In the streets?
like from like recent memory of like the like how frequently were we able to like see elves, like just like living amongst everyone else in the city?
Oh my god. Yeah. Port Denali is like at least 15% elves.
So a considerable margin, right?
Hmm. About half of it are humans. About 15-ish are halflings, 15 are elves, and everybody else is thrown in there. So a pretty high variety.
20% everything else. Um, I'm gonna turn to this elvish person, and I'm gonna say, if he's referring to, and just to make it clear, like, is there like a stigma around elves in Port de Mali? Like, they're not like a targeted race for being like victims of discrimination.
Well,
Yeah,
like
no, there's really not.
I mean,
Not really.
there's kind of a general discrimination from dwarves against elves.
it's from dwarves
I mean,
against elves, and then from like everything against
Not
like
really. Like,
I guess not in this world, right?
not in a city as large as this. Like some of those they're more backwater ideas.
Oh, I
Isolated
gotcha.
communities that have it. In
Rednecks.
general, yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, in general, there's a lot of mingling of elves and
Everything, yeah, everybody else, right?
yeah.
So I'm gonna say I'm assuming when he was referring to your kind, he probably wasn't referring to the fact that you're an elf per se. Perhaps your lineage, your family, or maybe that wormling over there. I'm gonna point to his little wormling. Perhaps something like that could have spurred some sort of anger within him.
To be honest, I'm not quite sure. I have no idea what could have caused it. I was just minding my own business when it happened. But I suppose I should introduce myself. I am Soren. I'm not really from here.
Well, where are you from?
To be honest, it's a little blurry. I can't really give you a precise area.
Really?
Well, so you're not quite sure where you're from.
My memory is a little hazy from that, or on that subject.
I see.
You have amnesia?
I'm sorry, I'm having issues hearing. There's some static coming through.
I didn't hear you all that well, Lily.
Do you have amnesia? Is that better?
Yeah.
I suppose that is what you could call it.
Ooh, that's a serious condition.
But you wouldn't mind if I tried something. I'm not really quite sure what the grasp of your understanding of where you're from is, or where you were from was. Would you be open to like perhaps a telepathic, perhaps a psychic sort of probing of sorts to see, at least give me some sort of comprehension on what your comprehension is on where you're from?
All I know is I'm from north of the Dwendalian Empire, or at least that's what I remember.
Really?
Could I do a history check to see if there's like any particular like tensions between that region and like anywhere in Port de Mali?
First off here, I will give you a little quick map of Wildemount. Yeah, roll me a history check.
So north of the Dwendalian Empire could refer to either Iselcross or Greyling Wildemount.
Roll me a history check.
Okay.
Also, I want to make it. I want you to not 20.
Not 20!
Nice. Of course.
First off, at any point in time during this, Dawn, they're asking a lot of questions and poking and prodding. Don't feel like it's because it's your first introduction that you have to give everything up. Basically, you can tell them no.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just
Basically.
curious.
If you're cool with it, though, it's fine. With a nat 20, there are two areas that you can think of when considering north of the Dwendalian Empire. There is Isocross and the Graying Wildlands. In terms of any specific tensions, not really, because there is not a lot of stable government in those regions. You have you're familiar enough with the Graying Wildlands, and then you've heard of rumors about the Savalier Wood being magically and enchanted and kind of haunted. Lots of rumors about that. And the Isocross, you know that as very much that's the frigid north. It's a series of islands that are extraordinarily cold. There are some teams who go from the Dwendalian Empire to Isocross in order to do excavations and digs and research. But as in, there's a chunk of historical artifacts in that region, but it is very desolate.
Out of curiosity, that red line that's going through Isocross, is that a lava river?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hell yeah.
Just casually answers. Don't worry, lava is only 10d10 damage, I think.
Oh, Jesus.
Something. Per round. Anyway. I'm gonna say... So, are you probably from Isocross? Does that place ring any bells for you?
No, it does not.
Well, in any case, north of the Dwendalian Empire, that is quite a ways to be. I wonder what is the first thing you remember? If you can remember that.
I remember waking up facing Guy. It gets a little fuzzy here and there, but I remember wandering through a plain and then a forest and then plain. I've been wandering for a while, making my way around, trying to find a few things, but I've ended up here. I'm on my way to another city, actually, where I'm leaving tomorrow. I don't think you guys have introduced yourselves yet. Who or what might I call you?
Call me Chim.
My name's Windchime.
Well, my name is Edward. I hail from the Snowgale family. Pleasure to meet your acquaintance.
Please, the pleasure's all mine.
And not that it matters or whatever, but I'm Nihiri.
It matters. It matters, Nihiri.
Oh, thanks.
I must be going. Or wait.
Do you know where you're going?
I am going to Nico Jonas is my next place. I am going.
Well, why don't you skip a step in that and come with us? We're
You
leaving.
guys are
We're leaving for Phelan tomorrow morning, and we're going to be going from Phelan to Nicodranas.
Oh yeah, the more the merrier.
If you're willing to have me, I definitely wouldn't mind the extra company.
I just wanted to let you know you did pay money.
That is true. Yeah. Okay.
So just for your information.
Yeah. I am, however, heading to Phelan as well on the way with a group of people. So,
Really?
Really? Well, as luck would have it, we recently, yesterday, we signed up for an escort posting by the guild hall to escort a caravan going to that particular place, Phelan.
perhaps, if luck shall have it, that escort is actually ours. But we shall see tomorrow, I suppose.
That'd be such a
Fate
funny
is a fickle
coincidence.
mistress.
Where are you guys headed today? I've kind of ran all my errands I need to run. If you
Well, I
don't
mean,
mind-
for now, we're going to return. We're going to return the sword before any more complications arise regarding today's altercation.
Perhaps I should stick away from there then. I do bid you guys good luck, though.
If that is what you wish, then I hope that our paths cross tomorrow morning.
I do as well.
With that, Rocky, quick question for you. What the fuck is up with your mic, man?
What do you mean? What's up with my mic?
Making weird noises, lots of static.
Is it?
Really?
Sounds like you're rubbing cloth over it, yeah.
I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't hear anything coming from his end.
The static? We haven't been hearing the static the whole time? Am I just that crazy?
Oh, it definitely. I heard static, or the
Yeah.
rubbing on a microphone.
I
It's
mean, I'm not
happening.
sure. Because
It's
this is a
less
new
now.
mic, remember? This is a new mic with my new computer.
Can you like adjust the plugin?
I can adjust the sensitivity. I mean, is this better?
It's about the same to me.
Like, is there static in the back of my voice?
No.
No.
'Cause I'm looking at, like,
Better.
the Discord, it's literally got, like, no input. Right? So
Well,
I don't know
it's just-
whose end it is. Like, the static. I don't know whose end the static is coming from.
Either way. Whatever it is, it's gone now. So your passport. Your passport, as the lot of you, with the exception of the elf you're traveling with.
Soren.
Yes. Head off to the temple. You make your way into the crescents, and again, in order to get to the Temple of Pelor, the Sunfall Sanctuary, you have to pass many large, extravagant buildings with finely trimmed bushes outside. Some of them are in fancy shapes. Like, oh look, that's a hippo. That's definitely a. You look at it, you're like, that's a sitting dog, etc. You make your way into the Sunfall Sanctuary, and I'm actually going to pull you back because on this page, I have a picture. You see a grand cathedral placed in the center of the city, with the symbol of Palor emblazoned in its design. You see tall spires that evoke the imagery of the sun, with large stained glass windows in the shape of the symbol of Palor. All of them of variety of soft yellows, oranges, and reds. As you make your way into the rather busy temple, you see, at least at this point, 50 or so people in various altars praying. Catholic-inspired style and soft music heard all around you, coming from what appear to be floating instruments, flutes, and the like.
Is there mage hand on the floating instruments?
Maybe.
Oh well, it's not worth the detect magic. I'm just gonna waltz up to the most important looking person I see. Who would that be?
See a
You see Moonzic.
you see a woman who is making her way to many of the people who are in the middle of their prayers, offering them water and even some bread to many of the people. Particularly, she stops at people who look like they are particularly downtrodden and in need of care. In a place to be out of the rain. As she gives the soft smile, you see she is a rather short human with bronze skin and this long yellow robe that kind of trails off behind her. There's many different golden and symbols etched into the weave of her robes, and she appears to be wearing some sort of golden crescent above her head. In a looks like it affixes from behind the ears as a sort of headband that is adorned with these large, nearly full circle moon. Golden horns. I don't know if that made any sense.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go up to that. Like, I'm gonna wait for her to finish handing out all the bread, all of the water, and finish attending her duties. And then when looks like she has a moment to spare, I'm gonna walk up to her, and I'm gonna say, "Excuse me, but I believe one of your, I believe that this sword was dropped by one of your followers. I'm here to return it back. Didn't know who to turn this into."
You see, she gives you a slow look, and with this gentle smile in her eyes, as she says, Thank you very much. Do you happen to know the fellow this belonged to?
I don't really know the name, but I can give a face. And then I'm going to cast Silent Image and make sort of a projection of what he looks like as an image right next to me so that she can see it. I mean, that's what he looks like.
I believe that is Bartholomew. Absolutely. I can return this to him. Thank you very much for doing your job. Please, stay. Is there anything I can do for you?
I'm gonna turn to Cheem and Windchime. And I'm gonna like look at them like, what do we do now? we kind of turned in the sword.
On one hand, I feel like it'd being polite to turn down her offer, but at the same time, we do have other things that we want to take care of. Well,
What was her offer?
to stay.
Stay.
Just stay. To pray.
Just stay.
Oh, and hang. Oh,
Just to stay and pray.
how long is prayer session?
As long as you need.
Oh no.
She gives you a soft smile.
I think we'll take a rain check.
It's literally raining outside as she says this. Literally in the rain.
She nods her head gently and takes the sword from you. Gingerly. She's got, she's got very delicate looking hands. As she takes the sword and holds it out in front of her, parallel to the ground. And as she walks away,
Who's making a check? Hello?
Yeah. I mean, we
is
returned
it-
the sword. Still relatively curious as to what that paladin was referring to when he said we don't want your kind here. Something along the lines of that. Not sure what that was about.
Well, next time we come across him, you could always ask him.
I mean, I doubt we're going to come across him anytime soon. We're leaving tomorrow, aren't we?
A lot can happen between now and tomorrow.
Maybe he's a gambler. Or a thief.
The man or the elf?
The elf. Or maybe he's not what he looks like. The way you are.
Possibly. Not even going to take offense to that one. Well, in any case, shall we head on over to the library?
I suppose so. There's some more things I've been meaning to look for in the library. It's a place of, well, it's a recluse for me, but it's also not just a recluse, but it's like how do I describe? It's like a recluse, but also,
Like
even
a
though you're
vacation?
sheltered within a small confined space, the scope of what you can learn from is far greater than any adventure or exploration would yield.
It's
It's
a wellspring
it's
of
hard to
knowledge.
I can tell it's hard to describe.
but there's a lot to be gained from sitting in a cold room with the musty smell of paper.
But it's cold inside. I thought there was gonna be like a roaring fire, and you could cozy up and like enjoy the sounds of the pitter pattering rain on the window.
Edward is gonna sit there, never really having felt actually really cold because he's a fire genasi. I'm not really quite sure what the difference that would make would be, but
Oh, you gotta experience it, Edward.
I mean, yeah, it's like slightly warmer, but you don't really feel much from the fire. I've never had a problem with being cold.
Well, when you're able to control flames, I suppose that's not much of an issue for you.
I suppose so. That would be insensitive on my part, I suppose.
Right.
If you ever need a fire to be lit, you can ask me to do it.
Can you just make it? Can you just make fire?
Oh, you mean like this? I've been doing this thing the whole time where I cast produce flame and I make a little fireball from my
Oh
hand.
my goodness!
You know, like the thing that I've been doing constantly.
That's
Yeah,
true.
look at
I
that,
thought you
fire
did
boy. Um,
Look at
Wait,
that,
so-
Edward. You've got a nickname.
um, and not too terribly long after you cast, your little produce flame in your hand, you see a woman approach you in some sort of soft oh goodness, soft orange robes, as she approaches you and says, excuse me, you can't light that in here.
Sorry. I'm gonna,
This is a place of worship.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yep. Thank you. Don't need anybody catching fire today. Again. She walks off. She walks off.
Again. Fucking what?
Somebody already.
I'm sure it's a magical mishap. Those things are more common than you would expect, especially of places where magic is especially prevalent.
Have
And then he's gonna like gesture towards like the floating instruments.
Have any of your clothes caught fire from your own doing, Edward?
Occasionally, every now and then. I mean, usually I go through a whole set of clothing every month or so. Before I learned how to control the flames, of course.
Note to self: never get self-contained fire powers.
I mean, I wouldn't imagine that acquiring said powers would be easy.
Fair point.
In fact, I'm not really quite sure how I acquired these powers. That's one of the books that I planned on looking forward to doing some studying as to what is the process that people undergo in order to acquire said affinity for fire. And if so, are there more like me?
Maybe you have to stick your hand in a fire or something.
I
grab
would not
it.
recommend that for anybody to do.
Obviously not, but it would be a pretty good test to see if it affects you.
I can assure you that I can hurt myself from my own fire. it would probably
That's a
be.
relief, I think.
That's not a relief. That's painful lessons I've learned from young childhood. Me
Oh,
being unable to
sorry.
control said fire.
Didn't mean to bring up bad memories or whatever. Anyway, I don't know if it's like psychosomatic or whatever, but like it's totally itchy in here.
Somatic, you mean like brain hand moving things like mage hand?
Like psychosomatic. Wait, are you telling me you don't know what psychosomatic means?
I know what somatic components are.
You sound like most of the time like you're like straight up reading out of a thesaurus, and you don't know what psychosomatic means. Wow. Okay, that changes things, I think.
I know what somatic components are, if that's what you're asking.
So like.
Oh
I mean,
my
unless you're
God.
talking about the other thing where, like,
Yeah,
you know,
my skin is definitely starting to burn now. Let's get out of here.
I guess we're headed to the archive, run by the Kobold Soul.
Yep.
And we're gonna actually take a break here.
Sounds good. Are we doing
Hey, I'm
half
gonna
hour?
get some ice cream.
Yeah, probably half an hour. We might
Half an hour.
extend that. It depends on how. If I can get the other guys back in time, or
Sounds-
when they get back, but half an hour for sure.
Okay.
No.
sounds good. Alright.
If they can't, they can still join us by watching live on twitch.tv/FrigidHyperion.
That's right. Join us every Monday, typically 3:30
Monday.
to 4:30, or 3:30 or Central, 4:30
Eastern.
Eastern. I'm going to cut part 1 here. We'll see you guys soon.